You guys are well. Beautiful man.
Yeah. Could be talking forever.
And the beautiful hair going on.
All right, let's welcome Group C to the floor.
Alright, so our topic is the dangers of distracted driving. And so obviously you've heard our teachers say that we can only do one task exceptionally well, while if we were to do multiple tasks, it could never be to that same level of just doing one task. And I personally am a reckless driver. You probably all are. And I go in my car, I turn on my music, I want to switch it around. And driving's already requiring you to do multiple tasks. It wants you to look at your rear view mirrors, look at how fast you're going, and look at what's in front of you. And adding to that, it will just make your driving skills lower. And yeah, adding to that is a no-no. So the topics we're going to talk about are drinking and driving. You guys are obviously already know that is dangerous because it impairs your judgment. And then another thing is cell phones, which you've already seen multiple commercials on, that you're going to look at your phone and not see what's in front of you. And we're going to also talk about the multiple laws that are in place to keep everyone safe. And we're going to explain that.
Alright, so one of the biggest forms of distracted driving is drinking and driving. So when a person consumes alcohol, it impairs their judgment, it impairs their depth perception, and some of their motor skills, which three of the main basic things we need to do to safely operate a motor vehicle. So a person's level of impairment isn't just the type of alcohol that they consume, it's actually the amount of alcohol that they consume in a certain time. So when they're impaired, it's easy for people to think that after a few drinks, I'm gonna go for 30 minutes or whatever, down for 3 years, I should be good. But you end up driving up the 160 north, so you get fires right there, on oncoming traffic. This is Corporal King. I used to work with him. These two girls were actually killed that night when he said it was all good. And his level of impairment was obviously here by his level of judgment was impaired by alcohol at night. But all right, so say that people make the decision of actually drinking and driving, and say you get home, right? And just because you made it home safe, too bad you didn't get an accident or anything, doesn't make a great decision. But let's say the police actually take notice of your driving. So you get slapped with a DUI. What is a DUI? A DUI is driving under 18. There were over 10,000 deaths due to drunk drivers and 290,000 injuries. Out of those deaths, 200 of them were children 14 years or younger. And so in America, about 27 people die every day from drunk driving, and that's about as many people are in this classroom. So something to think about. So one thing about drinking and driving is one death by a driver under the influence of alcohol is one too many.
Okay, so going on from Gabby. Okay, so another very dangerous and distracting thing about driving is texting, cell phone use, which includes texting, emailing, even calling, or even listening. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, but I have every time I drive, I sometimes check my phone, and I can feel my car swerving into another lane, and I always think okay, I'm gonna get an accident, so I stop. But you could honestly it just takes 5 seconds just to lose your focus. Okay, well, first of all, texting and driving is something you should not do at all. And it's not just for teens, it's also adults too. And it's very distracting, and the probabilities of getting into accidents it's a lot higher than you guys think. Okay, so it takes, it's 5 seconds is the minimum amount that it takes for you to get your eyes off of the road. So just think about that. And it's honestly, it's more likely to cause an accident than driving under the influence, because it's a lot harder, like, to like press on your, like when you're pressing on your brakes than when you're like drunk, because you're just like going, but if you're trying to brake, you can just like swerve your car everywhere, you can't really have control about it. And then it's very serious, you could take someone else's life. Okay, and then all states are different, but I'm just gonna talk about the California ones. So if you were to get pulled over by a cop, you would have to pay a ticket of $285. And it's banned, and for us it's banned from everyone, so including bus drivers, adults, and teens. That's pretty much it.
Okay, now I'm going to discuss the solutions. There's already solutions that are put into place, and there's solutions that many of us don't think about. So many of us are familiar with DUIs and just distracted driving, period. We've either seen them in commercials or we've heard about it in school, but we pretty much know about the risk and the consequences. The question is, why is it still happening? I noticed that it's something that there have been deaths reduced, but it's not enough. So here's some of the ones that have, the laws that have been already implemented, which is the MAD, which is Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I think all of you guys have heard of it. It started actually in 1980, and from there till now, there have been a few like 10,000 deaths that have been reduced. But one thing that we don't understand is that the laws that are already put into place, we still don't follow. And that's why there's still DUI checks. They have that open container law, which is it's pretty recent. And the other thing that we have access to, I mean, nowadays is Uber and Lyft and taxis, and it's just easy for us to, as a society, to just simply just call, and if we feel like we're gonna drink or whatever, it's just something that we need to just do our part on. And the other solution for texting and driving, there's other laws that have been implemented. We've had the cell phone ban, and pretty much all the texting and driving, obviously it's pretty new, all those laws. They have the AT&T, like all of the technology solutions. They have the phone blocking technology, which a lot of the phone companies have now. There's also the state programs that educate kids now at a younger age than before. And as far as what we can do is pretty much, number one, take the issue seriously. I think a lot of us think that the deaths that distracted driving as far as texting and DUIs are not the same, but they pretty much are. I think now, especially now, because we all have cell phones and we are all just on it at all times, texting and driving is probably more common than DUIs. And pretty much just obeying the law. Just putting your phone away, and yeah, just simply just not texting and driving.
Alright, so you guys learned today that distracted driving is dangerous, that drinking, being a college student, you don't have the money to really pay for the ticket or all the consequences that will end up with that. And then cell phones, you see that it's more dangerous to text while driving than to actually be driving under influence. And then there are laws that are meant to keep us safe, and we aren't invincible. We will get ourselves hurt eventually. So just be a good, safe driver and avoid all these dangers of distracted driving.
Yeah, you guys. All right, folks.